Jesse Itzler, really interesting guy. He talks about how he plans out his years, and it's based on these 3 rules. Now, he is a billionaire, I think. He's worth a lot of money, if not a billionaire. And he's the owner of the Atlanta Hawks. He married the founder of Spanx. He runs 100-mile races. He wrote a book, Living with David Goggins. He kind of made Goggins known to the public. He's a pretty cool story. You got to listen to some of his motivational speeches on YouTube. He plans out his years based on these 3 rules. The first one is a Japanese word called misogi. It's a year-defining event. The second is a rule he calls Kevin's rule. It's a new thing every 2 months, so a new experience. And the third one is a new winning habit every quarter. Now, of course, the story that he tells is so much better than saying it in those 3 things, right? You have to go listen to one of his videos. But he ends this story of all those 3 things as, dude, if you have if you're 30 years old and you're trying to, and you live till 80 years old, that means you have 50 year-defining stories. You've got 300 things that you never would have tried or new things, and you got 120 winning habits. At that point, you've won life. You've won life. It's a really hype speech. Okay, anyways, I like this concept of planning out my years. 2024 is on the cusp. It is close. We're getting close to it. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do next year. And I know that it has to involve running a marathon in all 50 states, right? That's what I've spent the past couple of weeks figuring out. But what I realized is that I've kind of been living out a misogi the past couple of years. But I want to change the misogi a little bit. So what misogis have I done in the past? Well, in high school, I built a table from tree to table, right? I salvaged a tree trunk from a company, from a library near my house. The tree was getting cut down. I paid the tree company to drop it off in my house. It's like $50. I took that log with 0 knowledge of woodworking and went from tree to table for an actual paying customer. And it was wild. It took like 6 months. It was two 10-foot long tables, so 20 foot long in total. It's the centerpiece of a restaurant in Atlanta. So that was like my year-defining event, my senior year of high school. And then year-defining event in 2021 was the 50 States in 50 Days road trip. And I guess the Chipotle sponsorship that ensued right after. 2022 was the 100 Colleges in 100 Days tour and the Barstool Sports Idol Week appearance that followed that summer. 2023 was crossing America on a penny farthing bike. Now, that one is misleading because I crossed cities across America. I biked in cities across America. That's what it was. But in the video that will get edited and posted hopefully soon here on the main account, I will talk about how if it gets a certain amount of views, I still haven't decided yet, I will drop everything and do a biking across the United States video. No hesitation. Okay. Now, misogi is a year-defining event, right? I want masogi to be my word. Because Wyatt Moss, masogi is a life-defining event, right? So misogi is to do a year-defining event once every year, a story that you can share for the rest of your life. I want a life-defining event every year, a story, a set of stories that I can share for the rest of my life. That's what masogi is. If you start thinking of your life like this, what do you want the defining moments to be in your life? Because you can plan them out. You can say, well, if I had to write an autobiography and I had to make it super interesting, what topics would I put in there? This, that, and the other. And oh, if I had all the money in the world, I'd do this. And I could probably do this if I had all the time in the world. And maybe all this one if I didn't have kids, or if they were old enough to go do it with me. You start thinking, just dream. I give you an excuse right now to dream, to come up with a dream of your own. Here's the excuse. It's yours. Keep it. Take it some time tonight and think, like, what's the dream? If I could have it all. Because it really just starts there, And if you had to figure out your masogi, what would it be for the next 10 years? What are 10 life-defining events that you can do over the next 10 years? I know that in probably 5 years from now, my masogi will be a wedding with 100,000 guests. Now that's like a crazy thing for some people, not me. I'm gonna find a way to make it happen. I know that 10 years from now, I'll be having my 8th kid. Maybe not at 10 years, probably like 13 or 15 years from now. But like, those are just 2 examples in a certain category. That doesn't include running a marathon in every country, or, interviewing one person from every major college in the United States. Whatever it is. Maybe it's talking to having lunch with every House of Representatives member or senator. Just a life filled with life-defining stories is the life I want to live. So every single year, 1 or 2 or 3 life-defining events will take place. This next year, running a marathon in all 50 states. Why? Why not? I'll see you tomorrow.